Hey guys, cooking is where we love to be creative, to experiment, and stretch our brains beyond the norm, trying to recreate or create our crazy food ideas. So a lot of the enjoyment we have in the kitchen is because of some of the things we absolutely love using. It just keeps us coming back for more. So today we wanted to share our favorite tools, gadgets, equipments that we love using in the kitchen.
But before we get into that, welcome to all of our new friends here at Adventures of Carly-Ann. We are all about pursuing those passions, cooking, experimenting, playing, just improving every day. And if you're into that, you want to change your lifestyle and follow your dreams, then hit the subscribe and the bell and join the adventure.
So the first thing on our list is actually the biggest thing on our list, and it's our vacuum sealer. The VacVita 301 by Sovita is a no-brainer for us. We can make extremely large batches of anything like kachang's food, soups, stews, sauces without even worrying about things getting freezer burn in the freezer or mold growing and bacteria growing because they just love oxygen. This sealer specifically is great because how well it seals liquids. So when we get things ready to be sous vide, we can use liquid marinades to really get the flavors into the food. We actually did a review of this sealer, so you can find that link up in the corner. So the next thing on our list is tape. Not just any tape, but bright colored painter's tape. It's the greatest thing you can have in your kitchen. You can label and date your food. We like this pink one because it's easier to read the label with this kind of a background to a black Sharpie. But any color you like will do. Next on our list is an ice cream machine. Now, we really love this ice cream machine. Honestly, we just love ice cream. We've got a video of our Bay Area adventures going to different ice creameries, which we'll link to that playlist. We have videos on our ice cream recipes that we make with this machine in particular, which will also link to that playlist. But this is a must-have for us because we love sharing and making ice creams for our friends and family. It made it easier for us to create 3 different types of coffee ice cream, invent our own cereal milk ice cream, and even starting to experiment with other ice cream creation. Another gadget I really love is this Zassenhaus pepper mill. I recently have had this thing with pepper mills that I just love most of these manual grinding ones. I can't explain what, why, how, but I feel like there's just a certain feeling you get when you twist or grind your own fresh pepper onto your food. Next, we have an egg poker. I normally don't like teeny weeny one-trick ponies, but honestly, this little egg poker is a game changer of game changers. Ever since I started using this thing, my boiled eggs have been so much easier to peel. So what you do is use the gadget to poke a tiny hole at the larger end of the egg. There's an air sac here that expands when the egg is cooked. So some say it causes the shell to crack while cooking, but honestly, if you're getting to that point, then you're probably making some overcooked hard-boiled eggs. So this air sac causes the bottom of the egg to be an innie, like a belly button, and I don't want that. I want a round full, not necessarily an outie, but I wouldn't be mad at it. Now for my most precious prize of a kitchen tool. My kitchen knives. My most favorite thing in the kitchen and in the world are these Japanese knives. During our year of travel, we hit Japan twice, and I really wanted to take those opportunities to buy Japanese knives. First, we have my main chef knife I got from Tower Knives in Osaka. It's a Tower Knives brand Karuchi Blue Super carbon steel knife. So what I love about this knife and Tower Knives was that this knife was originally a Gyoto shape, and I really wanted one of those slanted tips like a samurai sword. They happily were able to cut a Kiretsuke tip for me on the knife and engrave my last name on it. So the experience there made pretty much my whole year. My second knife is one out of 2 of my butcher knives. A Tanegashima Honeski Blue No. 2 carbon steel knife I got from Tsubaya in Tokyo in the Kababashi area where they sell a bunch of kitchen things. What makes this knife unique to me is that you don't find many Honeski knives that have a Japanese handle, as most have Western style handles. The next 2 knives I got from Jiko Cutlery in Osaka. First is the other butcher knife I have, a Jiko Honeski Maru knife that has interesting shape, well suited for butchering hanging meats because you can do this crazy murder grip and it makes you feel like a boss. And this last knife that I have from Jiko is a petty knife where they also cut that K tip on there just so it can match the shape of my chef knife. These are all wonderful knives and I really love them. And we actually made a video on how to choose a knife and also how to sharpen your knives, because that is very important, and we'll also link that, or you can find it up in the corner.
The most important tool for me, whether I'm cooking or eating, are chopsticks. They're good for scrambling your eggs, swishing and dispersing your boiling noodles, and they're also super useful for picking up scraps that fall under the stovetop grates. They're also precise enough for plating or fishing things that you don't like out of a dish. Next, we have the rice cooker. It's one of those set it and forget it tools that I could never live without, especially our beautiful Zodrushi. So dependable. It's just so much better than trying to watch a pot of rice cooking on the stove and then some of it sticking to your pot. Ugh, the waste. Ain't nobody got time for that, unless you're making paella and you want it to stick to your pan, but that's a different story. Then we have spatula. Speaking of waste, it kills me when things get wasted, especially when you've gone through all the trouble of making it. So I need my spatulas to scrape down the last drop. And containers to save your things. You gotta have containers. And not just any containers. They have to make sense and be like organizable. Does anyone else also feel super satisfied when you're packing up leftovers and you grab just the right container and everything fits perfectly? And next we have the pliable plastic bench scraper. It's somewhat of a new tool for me, but since my foray into baking, I've started to use it more and more. And it's useful not just for cutting your dough and scraping the table off, or even just scraping the dough out of the bowl so you get every last bit. It's also useful when you're prepping a large quantity of ingredients and you need to shovel things off your cutting board. And while this one's not really a tool per se, I have to have beautiful dishware. It's one of my favorite things to window shop for, and when we were in Bali, we bought these beautiful dishes from Kettle, and I'm a big believer in carefully choosing your everyday things to have a little more beauty or delight. They're things you interact with all the time, and it automatically elevates your dining experience and enhances your daily life. And my last favorite thing is a bit of a bundle. It's sort of a tea mug and hot water kettle or dispenser. We're big tea drinkers, so having a hot water dispenser is so convenient. But short of that, having a hot water kettle with temperature control is important for tea drinkers. Then I need my go-to teapot or tea bags for steeping our loose leaf teas. And finally, while I love looking at those tiny teacups, I need me a big mug for drinking tea at home. There's nothing more cozy than having a hefty steaming mug of tea in my hands.
So those are our favorite things in the kitchen. If any of our favorites interest you, then use the links below to help us support the channel.
Also, let us know if you have any favorite tools in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!